Hello learners, so in this module we'll talk about writing for tourism. The objectives after having this lecture, we'll know what writing for tourism means, and also we'll familiarize with the basic skills that are required in this area. So before I actually go to the writing for skills, I'll start with the communication. We all know the importance of communication in tourism, and especially the communication that provides information about the destination, etc. Why? Because this communication, the written communication, it will narrate about the destination, that what this destination is all about, what are the things that we are going to find in this destination, what are the shopping areas, and so on and so forth. And if we are providing the our words in the writing for destination are not appropriate, that are going to form some kind of the image in the minds of the visitors, and if those image will not match the words that are given in the writing of destination, that will create to the unsatisfaction. So communication, as we all know, is not only the verbal one, it can be both verbal and the written. And the written communication is again a very important aspect in tourism. Tourist choice of destination is majorly influenced by the feedback. And this feedback, as I told you, can be the verbal and can be the non-verbal. This will create the information that the tourist receives, will make his expectations, and finally leads to the development of his satisfaction or dissatisfaction, which is a very important part in the marketing. Why? Because, for example, if we have written something about a destination, the tourist has already made some images about that destination based on that information, and if that information, he has made some expectations about that destination. When he actually goes to that destination, and when his expectations actually do not meet his experiences actually do not meet the expectations, that will lead to the dissatisfaction. So for the satisfaction or the dissatisfaction of the tourist, this feedback plays a very, very vital role. And so in order to create a good satisfaction amongst the tourists, it is important that we create a right kind of the feedback for the destination, so that the tourist creates the right kind of the expectations from the destinations, which finally leads to the development of his satisfaction. Now, travel writing or writing for tourism, basically when we say writing for tourism, it is actually providing information. Okay, so what kind of information or where that information can be sent? One, we will provide the destination information in journals, in magazines, tourism departments or corporations, newsletters, brochures, advertisements. Journals, we see so many journals with beautiful pictures and beautiful description about certain destinations. Then similar is the case with magazines. There are travel magazines now which are coming up, because traveling or tourism is the buzzword now, with everyone. Everybody wants to visit one place or the other at least once in a year. So they look for different kind of the places, and they look for the travel magazines, that what are the new emerging destination paradigms in tourism. So they look for these magazines to get the newer ideas about the destinations where they can go and where they can visit. The other writing for tourism has its prominence in tourism departments or corporations. We have seen so many brochures that are coming up. They show lot of information about the destination. We have seen the tourism corporations brochures and they are beautiful. Recently I've seen Rajasthan's brochures, and they all have pictures, colorful pictures. When we see the next page, they have the camel ride pictures, and then they're writing it down what this picture is all about. Then they talk about the camel fair, then they talk about the various other fairs. So these brochures also create image in the minds of the people about the destination. Then newsletters, we have many newsletters also which tells us that nowadays it is a very common phenomenon that the supplement newspaper that comes on Sundays or that comes on Saturdays, they also have at least one place for these information, travel information. So that includes your newsletters. And of course advertisements. Atithi Devo Bhava is the campaign, advertisement campaign, which is showing different places, and similarly every state also has its own destination campaign. They are showing their campaign through these advertisements, and these advertisements are the TV advertisements as well. But with these journals, magazines, tourism departments or corporations, brochures or newsletters or advertisements, now a very important media of travel writing is emerging, and that is or it has already been emerged now, and that is the social media. The providing the information on social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram. Now these people, they go and visit different places, and when they come back, they write the travel blogs or they write on Facebook or Instagram. So that writing on the Facebook or Instagram also creates an image in the minds of the people about that destination. Now we have already talked about where we can find these travel writings, and now we'll talk about the prerequisites, tools and qualities of the travel writing. As I told you that these travel writings are very, very important. Why? Because they create an expectations in the minds of the tourist, and so these travel write-ups, they should have the basic requirements. These basic requirements, the first basic requirement is lucidity. Lucidity is that whatever is written about any destination or about any tourist place, it should be very, very clear. It should include all the aspects of that destination. It should be very, very clear. There should not be the mix match of the words, and the clarity of about whatever that destination is, that should be there, and it should be understandable. Very important. Again, the communication part is here. So communication says whatever the sender sends, the receiver should be able to accept that message exactly in the same way. So understandability is to be built in up while the travel writing is being done. So whatever the travel writer wants to write, it should be written exactly, or it should be written in the words that the reader, it also takes the words, or the reader should also take the message exactly in that way. So the lucidity is the basic requirement. The second is capability for description. If a person is writing something about any destination, so he should have a detailed eye to describe what that destination is. Okay, so the capable for description. If for example, if you're writing about Hawa Mahal, so Hawa Mahal basically is just one wall, okay, with small windows. So somebody who is writing about Hawa Mahal should be able to describe it in a way that what those windows are for, what that wall is for, and its history and its emergence. So the person who is writing for travel, he should have the clear capability for description. The next important requirement is keen sense of observation. Until and unless you observe or you see the things yourself, you cannot be clear, you cannot be understandable, and you actually cannot describe what that place is. So the keen sense of observation is very, very important, and observation especially of the environment of that destination. Until unless you have the observation, you'll not be able to describe. There are certain things that one can describe about the destination in a normal way, as anybody can see, but there are certain things which are to be analyzed critically, which are to be seen critically, and then the observation is developed, and then you start writing about that. So this is again a very critical requirement that a person should have, but then it should be there. So the basic requirements of travel writing are: 1. Lucidity, then 2nd, capability for description, and 3rd, keen sense of observation. Let's talk about the objectives of travel writing. The objectives of travel writing, one who is writing, he should be very, very clear about why he is writing. So the first objective is that the person has to motivate travel to a destination, tourist to a destination. So the description should be in such a way that it becomes a motivating factor for others to visit that place. The second is describing a destination. As I already explained to you in the requisites, that the description about the destination is again very important. Why this place is, what is the history behind this, and the key factors, critical factors are to be mentioned. Another very important aspect of travel writing is cautioning the traveler. You have to write something. It is not that you're writing something about the negative about the destination, but it is just that you are cautioning the traveler. For example, if somebody is traveling to the Taj, so one can always write that beware of these street vendors. Okay, because they have a tendency to control the person, they have a tendency to motivate a person to purchase certain products from them. So this is just a cautioning, and it is not that you are highlighting the negative. The next is analyzing government policies. The objectives of travel writing also includes that the government policies are to be described by the person. There are certain rules and laws which are specifically pertaining to the specific destinations, and so those government detailing or policies should be told. And of course, the next is detailing the impacts. You can ask the travelers to be very, very responsible vis-a-vis the environment, vis-a-vis the society, and that is the detailing the impacts. Though these are the objectives. So another objective for travel writing is asking for improvements. From our travel writings, we can always ask the tourists who wish to visit a place to improve the destination in whatever or whichever way they want. Asking for improvements can mean that they can be responsible tourists, and the responsibility lies vis-a-vis the environment is concerned, and vis-a-vis the culture of the places concerned. So the travel writings should also include that that this destination demands certain improvements from the travelers, so that they can highlight or that they can write upon. The next objective should be making future predictions. making future predictions is, I remember that few years back or maybe 12 years back, I just I was going through one magazine and I saw that it described about Bali as a destination which was not that prominent at that time. 15 years back, Bali was it was there and it was attracting tourists, but it was not the hub of tourists at that time. So I saw that article and I found that Bali, the future predictions about Bali were already been made there. So they said that Bali is an upcoming destination and it will attract lot of tourists within 10 years or 12 years span, and which has actually happened now. Okay, so the travel writers, they can also make the future predictions as to what this destination would be in the coming years. Okay, in the future, how this destination would be and what are the things that this destination would give or offer to the tourists. Next is sharing experiences. Travel blogs is one very good example of sharing experiences. There are people who write about their experiences. If I have visited one place and I'll mention about that place, it will have a more impact on the potential tourist who wish to visit that place rather than just some normal article in any of the magazines or in any of the newspapers. The experiences that the tourists share, they have a major deep impact on the person, on the potential tourist. So travel blogs are the example, as I said. Then there are magazines which have these specialized columns on the tourist experiences. So that column also talks or gives the feedback to the potential tourists that what was their experience, was it worth going there or not. Another example of sharing experiences is that nowadays we find that hotels and which have which show their rankings in the websites, or many of the hotels, they have their websites, so they show their ranking that it is 1 star or 2 star or so on and so forth. This is good and that, and they also have one area or one point wherein they are showing that the experiences of the tourists who have visited that hotel. Similar is the case with the destinations. The destinations, once they are explaining that what that destination is all about, there also the experience of the tourists who are visiting that destination are being mentioned. So that has a major impact. So again, the responsibility of the writer holds more here. So the writer should be very carefully choose the words in writing his experiences. Next is marketing and promotion. Of course, this is a objective of any travel writer. Whatever we are writing, it is for the marketing and promotion of that destination. So the words, the choice of the words again should go hand in hand for the promotion of the destination in a positive sense, of course. Then recreating the past, another important aspect, that whatever we have lost in the destination, now we are again trying to revive it and bring it to the future tourists. That is recreating the past. Okay, so recreating the past is like if a destination has already it was there at one point of time as a tourist destination, but now due to any of the factors or due to any of the reasons, now that destination is no more prominence as far as tourism is concerned. So the travel writers, they can write about what was the history of that destination vis-a-vis the tourism is concerned, or what is the history of the destination, so that more tourists, they can visit that destination. So recreating the past is also one of the objectives of travel writing. Then providing information. Yes, of course. Providing information is whatever you're writing, you're providing the information to the tourist or the potential tourist. All these objectives, they should actually be linked to the target audience to be addressed and the type of publication one is writing for. if you are writing the travel blogs, or if you're writing, or if you're sharing your experiences and you're doing it in a magazine, so that the target audience will not be able to take it. If you're writing a negative experience about any destination, so the target audience will not be able to get the right kind of the information. And instead, that experience, if a person shares on the social media website, it will have a better impact subsequently. So all the objectives that we have discussed right now, so these should be linked to the target audience to be addressed, and the type of publication one is writing for. Now, what are the qualities, what are the skills and the competences that the travel writer should imbibe in order to be a good travel writer? First of all, the first quality is that the writer should not be prejudiced. It means that he, as a writer, he should not give his own opinions. For travel writing, for travel experiences, it is okay, but for if you're describing about the destination, describe with the eyes of the tourist who will be visiting or who has already visited. Not because you do not have good experience at that destination, because something happened at that destination which did not lead to the satisfaction of yours at that destination. That is very personal thing, so you cannot be prejudiced about that destination. So the writer should not be prejudiced is one part, that he should not whatever he is writing for that destination, it should not be his own opinions based on his own experiences which happened because of some personal reasons. Okay, so he should be very, very open. Then the writer has to be observant. Until unless the writer is observant or he has a keen to observation, he will not be able to write properly. I have already told you in the objectives also, so the observation is very important. Observation of the environment, observation of the person is very important. So you observe a destination with your own eyes and see that what is happening at this destination, and then you write that about that destination in your own way. Then is a certain amount of preparation has to be done. Yes, the groundwork has to be done. So it is not that you are closing your eyes and you're hearing 2 or 3 things from here and there and then you're writing it down. No, my dear learners, if you're writing about a destination, if you're writing about traveling, so write with some kind of preparation in your hand. Get the information and then write about it. Okay, so you should have the adequate amount of information with you beforehand, and then you start writing about it. Next very important quality that a writer should have is he should be constantly updating his knowledge and information. 5 years back I went to one destination, I saw that destination, this is what was happening there, and so I'm still continuing writing to what I had seen 5 years back is something which is not acceptable. Okay, the destinations, they are constantly updating, so your knowledge should also be updated accordingly. So information generation has to be done. The constant updating of the information has to be done. You might have seen something 5 years back at that destination which you did not like, maybe. So maybe now that is not happening anymore at that destination. So the information and the knowledge has to be updated from time to time. The next very important quality is the facts have to be vetted by the writer. I'm writing, it should not be that whatever I'm writing, whatever I wish to write, I'm writing. No, it is that whatever facts you are giving, so many tourists, they visited this place, so many people, they visited this place has earned this much of the revenues and so on and so forth. All the facts have to be vetted properly. They have to be seen properly. Their sources are to be mentioned properly if you are writing on the travel destinations. Then the writer should record personal experiences and assessments. It is important that the writer should be writing about his personal experiences about the destinations and his assessments about the destinations. But again, the prejudice should not be there. So his experiences are okay. So when he is writing about his experiences, he should write that this is my experience. This is what I have gone through because of these reasons. So he should be very clearly specifying his personal experience which have occurred because of so many factors. And then of course the assessments. Again, his personal assessments about the destinations can be recorded and should be recorded. Okay, so his personal assessments, but the mentioning of that these assessments are his own are required. Another important attribute that the travel writer should have is the meaningful photographs. He should always add meaningful photographs. It is not that he should click any random photo which is not required in the travel writing and he is displaying that. That can have a positive or the negative impact. So the choice of the photographs should be meaningful. They should clearly reflect the message that you are trying to give as a travel writer. And of course the illustrations, whatever pictures you are showing, whatever diagrams you are showing, it should not be that randomly you have picked up the illustrations or the photographs and you're showing it to the people. These photographs and illustrations should be meaningful. They should make a sense to the travel writings. So in this lecture, friends, you have studied the tourist choice of the destination that is majorly been influenced by the feedback that he receives, and this feedback is from the information that he makes from various sources. Then you have also studied the various places where you'll find this information, and which includes the magazines, the travel magazines, the journals, the tourism department or corporations, brochures, the advertisements, and as I said that the new media of providing the information is social media sites, that is your Facebook and Instagram, etc. Then in this lecture, dear learners, you have also learned about the prerequisites or the qualities that the tourist or the travel writer should have, and that includes the basic requirements, which includes your lucidity, capability for description, keen sense of observation, especially of the environment. Then the objectives that we discussed are the travel writer should focus on the objectives, that is motivating travel to a destination, describing a destination, cautioning the traveler, then analyzing government policies, detailing the impacts, asking for improvements, making future predictions, sharing experiences, marketing and promotion, recreating the past, and providing this information. And I also told you that all these objectives, they should be linked to the target audience, and the type of publication one is writing for. Then in this lecture, we also discussed the qualities that a writer should not be prejudiced. The writer has to be observant, certain amount of preparation has to be done, and the writer should be constantly updating his knowledge and information. He should also have the facts and figures vetted by him. Then the writer should also record personal experiences and assessments, and of course he should add only those photographs and illustrations which are meaningful. So we understood what the writing for tourism means, and also we talked about the basic skills that are required in this area, with the communication and the qualities which the travel writer should have.